Well, we're heading out to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina for what has been dubbed the People's Bowl game. That's a trademark. We're working on it, just trying to figure that one out. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, which unlucky, maybe lucky, I don't know what you're into, but which coach is going to get that massive tub of mayonnaise dropped on him and, smashed into his head, and then he gets into CTE protocol? We'll have to wait and see as NC State and Maryland play at 12 p.m. on ESPN. And look, this is two teams with a lot of questions, more questions than they have answers, at least right now on offense. NC State entering this one, no Devin Leary, definitely in a letdown spot. Some injuries derailed their season, lots of expectations for maybe some slim playoff hope, something like that. MJ Morris, Ben Finley have been filling in well. We think Morris gets the nod here, but Dave Doran has not and will not name his starter until kickoff. Kind of a smart move there as you get into bowl prep. Maryland, on the flip side, they beat the teams they should have and then lost every single toss-up game that they were an underdog in. That's the Big Ten East for you. That's just what you got to deal with. Talia Tagovailoa battling injuries, solid season for him, but he will face a very stout NC State defense without three of his top wide receiver weapons, missing Jacob Copeland, Dante Demas, and Raheem Jarrett. Trey, couple of teams, lots to break down here. What's going to happen in this one?
I think NC State's going to win this game if whichever young QB gets the start can just make enough plays to keep the offense moving, right? Like we mentioned off the top, both of them filled in valiantly. I'm personally expecting MJ Morris to get the start here. The only reason he didn't start the last two games is because he was injured, and he's back healthy now, according to all reports. So if he's 100%, I do think that he gets the nod. And he's shown a lot of flashes this year. He's not Devin Leary yet, but he's definitely shown flashes of what he can do in the future. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. NC State doesn't run the ball particularly well, and Maryland actually has a top 50 run defense. So both Morris and Finley have had their moments, but they're going to have to take it up a notch to win this bowl game. I think the pressure has been on NC State's defense to carry them ever since Devin Leary went down. And their defense is certainly talented enough to do that. But if you keep putting the pressure on it, if you keep forcing the defense to win you ball games, eventually it might break, especially against a talented quarterback like Talia Tagovailoa. So, yeah, whichever young quarterback gets to start, probably Morris, but even if it's Finley, they just have to keep the offense moving, keep the pressure off that defense, and allow that defense to play fast and loose with a lead. Because if you can do that, it's going to be a long day for Maryland. On the other side of the ball, they have to figure out a way to create a balanced offensive attack while missing so many weapons. You mentioned it off the top. Three of their top pass catchers, just talent-wise, are either leaving for the NFL draft or entering the transfer portal. So Talia does a great job spreading the ball around. That's definitely going to help them because they have a lot of guys that have stepped up and gotten experience, made some plays this year. And the run game's certainly going to help, but being one-dimensional against this Wolfpack defense is a recipe for disaster. They are not going to win this game if they're only relying on the ground game or not able to establish a consistent passing attack. So that's what Maryland's got to do if they want to stay in it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of pressure on all the quarterbacks in this one. Trey, who ends up winning this? Give me a score prediction here.
I love NC State's defense too much to pick against them. I think they're battle tested, and I've been really impressed that they've still finished the season as well as they have. I know it's not the season that they wanted to have at the beginning, but missing Devin Leary for so much of this season, the fact that they still were able to finish relatively strong, including winning their rivalry game in the last week of the season, I'm impressed by that. So I'm going to roll with the NC State defense. I do think it's a little bit lower scoring. Give me NC State somewhere to the tune of 24-20.
Wow, yeah, no. I'm actually going to pick Maryland in this one. I think that, when you look at this team, they pushed two playoff teams right to the brink. I think it was a one-score game with Michigan by the time it was all said and done, and they were right there with a chance to win against Ohio State until that unfortunate last-minute fumble recovered for the touchdown there. So, I think Maryland, they're a little bit more battle-tested. I think they've proven that they can hang with some of the better teams, and I think they're going to finally break through on this one. I think that this is a game where they don't maybe expect to win, but they're going to break through. Give me 27-24 Maryland, maybe even with the last minute field goal, heroic drive from Talia to get them in field goal range and kick it to win it.
Gracious. Yep.